She was just passing through until a little girl asked, "Wanna meet my daddy?" Stars streaked past like silver ribbons as the ship cut through the emptiness of deep space. She had spent months alone, traveling from one fringe colony to another, carrying cargo, doing repairs, and occasionally taking passengers for the right price. Solitude had become her closest companion. The ship's hum was a comforting presence, steady and predictable. Ilara's hands hovered over the controls, not out of necessity, but habit. She enjoyed feeling connected to the craft, as if it were an extension of herself. The galaxy was vast, and most travelers feared getting lost, but Ilara knew how to navigate where few dared to go. "Almost there," she muttered to herself. A tiny blip on the navigation screen indicated a small planet, unnamed and unmapped. It was remote enough that no one would expect a visitor, perfect for a quick resupply and a night off from the endless hum of the ship's engines. The atmosphere of the planet was thick with orange dust. As the landing gear touched down, a cloud of fine particles rose and settled slowly around the wandering star. Ilara stepped out, adjusting her jacket against the slightly warmer breeze. The planet looked deserted. Sparse, twisted trees dotted the terrain and jagged rocks broke the horizon. Not a single building, not a single sign of life as far as she could see. She sighed. "Another quiet stop," she said, surveying the landscape. Quiet was fine. Too quiet, however, always made her uneasy. She began walking toward the shallow river she had spotted from the ship. Water was rare on these planets, and she liked to check it out. It might be safe to camp near. As she bent to scoop some water in her hand, she noticed movement out of the corner of her eye. A small figure, barely taller than a human child, peeked from behind a tree. Ilara froze, hand half submerged in the river. "Hello," she called softly. The figure stepped forward, a little girl no more than 6 years old with wild hair that caught the sunlight. Her eyes were bright and unafraid, almost glowing in the dim light of the planet's sky. "Hi," the girl said simply. "Wanna meet my daddy?" Ilara blinked. The question was unexpected. Her mind raced. There should be no one here, no colony, no settlements, nothing. And yet here was a child, curious and smiling as though seeing her was the most normal thing in the world. I don't know," Ilara said cautiously. "Where is your daddy?" "Follow me," the girl said, taking off toward the trees. Her small legs moved with surprising speed over the uneven ground. Ilara hesitated only for a moment before giving chase. Something about the girl's confidence made her trust her, against all reason. The forest thickened quickly, twisting branches forming a natural corridor. As Ilara pushed through, she noticed signs of human presence, footpaths, small shelters hidden among the trees, and odd-looking devices that hummed softly. They were crude but functional. "Are you alone here?" Ilara asked as they walked. "Nope," the girl said matter-of-factly. "My daddy and others." She paused and looked back at Ilara, eyes wide. "You can come, don't worry." Curiosity piqued, Ilara followed. The forest opened into a clearing that took her breath away. Nestled inside a massive crater, the little colony looked almost magical. Homes made of metal and glass merged seamlessly with the environment. Solar panels stretched across rooftops, spinning to catch the light. Small gardens grew everywhere, vibrant and full of life, despite the harsh planet around them. Humans were bustling about, moving supplies, tending gardens, and laughing in a way that felt almost alien in such isolation. The sight of it filled Ilara with awe. Against all odds, humans had carved a safe haven out of an empty, dangerous world, and they were thriving. "Welcome," a gentle voice said behind her. Ilara turned to see a man approaching, a tall, wiry figure with kind eyes and a calm presence. "I'm Dr. Aiden Rowe." "That's my daughter, Leela." Ilara shook his hand, feeling an unexpected warmth in the gesture. "Captain Ilara Vance," she replied. I didn't expect to find anyone here." Aiden smiled faintly. "Most don't. We try to stay quiet." Leela tugged at Ilara's sleeve. "Can you help us, please?" she asked, eyes shining. "We need to fix the water pumps. They're not working right, and I want to show you the gardens after." Alara knelt to meet Leela's gaze. The child's enthusiasm was infectious. She nodded. "All right, let's take a look at those pumps." As they walked, Alara observed the ingenuity of the colony. Every tool, every device was built from what they could find or salvage. Nothing was wasted. Humans had a way of making the impossible seem ordinary, of bending the universe to their will with cleverness and determination. The water pumps were simple but malfunctioning. Alara inspected the pipes, tracing the issue to a broken valve. Without hesitation, she dismantled the mechanism and, using a few spare parts and her own improvisation, repaired it. The water flowed smoothly again, crystal clear and steady. "See," Leela clapped her hands. "Now the gardens will be fine." Alara smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment that went beyond fixing a machine. She was reminded vividly of what humans could do. Alone, in an unfamiliar world, they didn't just survive, they thrived. That night, as the twin moons of the planet rose, Alara sat with the family outside their home. Leela snuggled close to her father, yawning but wide-eyed with excitement. Alara listened as Aiden spoke about their work, studying the planet, growing food, and understanding the strange patterns in the environment. "Why do you help them?" she asked, gesturing to the other colonists who were quietly preparing dinner. Aiden looked thoughtful. "Because it's what humans do. We adapt, we survive, and we build something better for those who come after. No matter where we are, no matter the odds, we find a way." Alara nodded, feeling the truth of it deep in her bones. All her life, she had wandered the stars, believing herself alone, just passing through. And yet here was proof that humans could flourish, even in the most unlikely places. Later, as she lay in her temporary quarters, she thought about Leela's simple question, "Wanna meet my daddy?" It was more than a question. It was an invitation, a bridge into a world she hadn't known existed. For the first time in months, Alara didn't feel like she was just passing through. She felt like she had arrived somewhere meaningful, somewhere worth staying, even if only for a while. The stars outside her window twinkled silently, vast and infinite. But inside the crater, surrounded by human ingenuity and the warmth of family, Alara finally felt a small part of the galaxy's heartbeat. And as she drifted to sleep, she realized that the galaxy, for all its emptiness, had a way of surprising those willing to open their hearts. Humans were never just passengers. They were builders, survivors, and dreamers. And perhaps, just perhaps, she was ready to be part of that story. The sun rose slowly over the crater, casting warm light across the hidden human colony. Captain Alara Vance stretched and rubbed the sleep from her eyes. She had spent the night in a small guest room provided by Leela and her father, Dr. Aiden Rowe. For the first time in months, she felt rested. The air here was fresh, carrying the faint scent of growing plants and the soft hum of machinery. Alara stepped outside and was immediately greeted by the colony's activity. Humans were everywhere, carrying baskets of food, tending to the gardens, repairing solar panels, and checking the irrigation channels. Their movements were efficient, almost choreographed, as if the colony itself ran like a living machine. Leela ran up to her, bright-eyed and full of energy. "Come on, I want to show you the gardens," she said, grabbing Alara's hand. Alara followed, her curiosity growing. The gardens were vast, stretching across terraced slopes of the crater. Lush greens, vibrant flowers, and colorful fruits and vegetables grew side by side. Every plant seemed to thrive, even in the rocky soil. Alara watched as humans moved effortlessly through the rows, watering, pruning, and harvesting. "How do you grow so much in such a place?" Alara asked. She knelt to touch the soil, surprised at how fertile it felt. Aiden joined them, smiling. "We use what the planet gives us," he said. "We adapted the soil, captured rainwater, and designed irrigation systems that work even in harsh conditions. Humans are good at making the most of what's available. We can't change the planet, but we can learn to work with it. Alara nodded, impressed. She had seen colonies before, but nothing like this. Humans here had created a world of life and order in a place where most species would struggle to survive. She realized again how resourceful humans could be when they had a reason to fight for their survival. Leela led her through the gardens to a small building at the edge of the colony. Inside, machines hummed softly, and strange glowing panels lit the room. "This is the lab," Leela explained. "My daddy studies things, weird things." Aiden looked up from a table covered in notes and devices. "Morning, Alara, I see you've met Leela." "Yes," Alara replied. "Your daughter is very bold." Aiden chuckled. "Boldness is a good trait, especially when it comes to solving problems." He turned to a nearby panel and tapped a few buttons. A holographic map of the planet appeared, showing crisscrossing lines, sensors, and strange markers. "We study the planet and its energy patterns. There's something beneath the surface, a strange formation we call the crystal core. It's unlike anything we've seen. We're trying to understand it without disturbing the planet too much." Alara leaned in, fascinated. "And the colony? You've been here alone." "Not completely," Aiden said. "A few other humans arrived years ago. They helped build this place from scratch. We share knowledge, work together, and keep the colony running. Humans thrive when we cooperate. Alone, we survive. Together, we grow." Alara felt a strange warmth hearing this. She had spent so long as a lone traveler, surviving on her skills alone. Here, humans had created something bigger than themselves, a community, a home, a sanctuary. It was inspiring. They spent the morning exploring the colony. Alara watched as humans repaired machinery with nothing more than scrap metal, spare wires, and ingenuity. One man built a water filter out of old pipes and leaves. Another had fashioned a solar collector using glass shards and metal plates. Everything worked. Nothing was wasted. "This is amazing," Alara said to Aiden. "You've made life possible here." Aiden smiled, looking over the crater. "It's what humans do. We adapt, we create, and we solve problems. Sometimes survival is just the beginning. Then we build something lasting." After a simple breakfast of fresh fruit and bread, Leela tugged Alara toward a nearby field. "Come see," she exclaimed. "I want to show you the flowers I planted." The flowers were in neat rows, bursting with color. Alara knelt beside Leela, helping her plant a few more seeds. The little girl's laughter filled the air, and for a moment, Alara forgot she had ever been alone in the galaxy. Humans had a way of making even the simplest moments feel extraordinary. As they worked, a faint vibration ran through the ground. Alara looked up, frowning. "What was that?" Aiden walked over, examining a small device on the ground. "The planet shifts sometimes," he explained. "Nothing dangerous, but it reminds us we're not in complete control. We adapt just as humans always have." Alara smiled, feeling a connection she hadn't expected. She had been passing through, a lone traveler, but now she was part of something alive and thriving. Humans, she realized, were never truly helpless. They could take the raw chaos of the universe and turn it into life, into community, into wonder. Later, Aiden invited her to the central hall, a large space built into the crater's natural rock. Humans gathered there to share news, celebrate achievements, and teach the young ones. Alara watched as Leela ran ahead to greet other children, her laughter echoing through the hall. Aiden gestured to the machines and charts scattered around the room. "We're learning from the planet and from each other. Every day, humans here find new ways to survive and thrive. Sometimes it's a new farming technique. Sometimes it's a clever device. But every success comes from curiosity and determination." Alara felt inspired. She had traveled the stars alone, facing danger and uncertainty, but this ingenuity, this collaboration, was something she had never fully appreciated. Humans weren't just survivors. They were thinkers, builders, and dreamers. The afternoon was spent in a workshop where Alara helped repair a damaged solar panel. Using basic tools, some spare parts, and her knowledge of engineering, she managed to restore it. Aiden nodded with approval. See, humans can always find a solution when we need one. Alara realized how true that was. Here, in a remote crater on a distant planet, humans had built a thriving society using nothing but intelligence, creativity, and determination. They hadn't waited for help or miracles. They had made life happen. As the sun began to set, the sky painted in shades of orange and purple, Alara walked with Leela to a small hill overlooking the colony. The little girl held a basket of flowers she had picked, her smile bright in the fading light. "Do you like it here?" Leela asked, looking up at Alara. "I do," Alara said honestly. "It's amazing what you and your friends have built." Leela nodded, proud. "We make it work. Humans are good at making things work." Alara laughed softly. "Yes, we are." She looked at the colony below, the homes, the gardens, the busy humans. "I thought I was just passing through, but maybe I was meant to find this place." That night, as the colony gathered around small fires, sharing stories and laughter, Alara sat quietly and reflected. Humans had a way of turning adversity into triumph, of creating beauty and life in the most unlikely places. She realized that no matter how far she traveled, she would always carry that spark, the determination, the creativity, the courage that made humans who they were. For the first time in a long while, Alara felt at home, even if only temporarily. And she knew that whatever lay ahead in the galaxy, humans would face it with curiosity, resilience, and the unshakable belief that nothing was impossible. As she drifted to sleep under the twin moons, she thought of Leela's question from the day before. "Wanna meet my daddy?" It had led her to this extraordinary place, this extraordinary people. And she understood now that the galaxy was full of hidden wonders, wonders that humans could not just survive but thrive within. Alara smiled to herself. She was still passing through, yes, but she had found a place that mattered. And for a traveler like her, that was more than enough. The morning sun painted the crater in soft gold as Captain Alara Vance walked through the colony. Birds, strange, bright-winged creatures native to the planet, flitted through the trees, chirping. The air was alive with energy, and humans moved with purpose, tending to gardens, machines, and children. Alara had grown comfortable here, feeling the pulse of life and creativity around her. She had planned a simple day, helping Leela in the gardens, assisting Aiden with energy sensors, and perhaps mapping the surrounding terrain. But humans, she reminded herself, had a way of turning ordinary days into extraordinary challenges. It started with a hum, a vibration beneath her feet, soft at first, almost like the heartbeat of the planet itself. She stopped and listened. Leela, playing nearby with a small mechanical toy, didn't notice, laughing and chasing a fluttering insect. "Do you feel that?" Alara asked, her eyes scanning the horizon. Aiden came running, carrying a small device that blinked with blue light. "It's the sensors. Something large is moving through the lower valleys. I don't know what it is yet, but it's unlike anything we've encountered before." Alara's curiosity was piqued. "Large? How large?" He shook his head. "We can't tell exactly. The readings are inconsistent and the energy signatures, they're strange." "Definitely not anything human or natural." Alara frowned. She knew the galaxy was vast, filled with uncharted worlds and unknown life. But there was something different about this. The movement felt deliberate, as if the planet itself had awakened to observe the humans below. "Let's go see," she said. "We'll need a clear view to understand what's happening." They moved toward the edge of the crater, where the trees thinned, giving a wide view of the valleys beyond. Aiden pointed to a shimmering mass moving across the ground, shifting and bending light around it. "I've never seen anything like it," he whispered. Alara squinted. The shape was difficult to define, fluid, yet structured, moving with purpose. It didn't roar or growl, it didn't attack. It simply moved and its presence was undeniable. "We need to prepare," Aiden said. "We can't control it, but we can make sure the colony is safe." Alara nodded. "Humans adapt. We'll find a way." Back in the central hall, the colony began mobilizing, not out of fear but out of determination. They checked their machinery, reinforced the energy grid, and secured vital systems. Every adult moved with calm efficiency. Children were guided to safe areas, and even Leela helped by carrying small tools and relaying messages. Alara observed, impressed. Humans had faced countless dangers both in space and on planets like this, yet their response was always the same. Think, adapt, act. Fear did not paralyze them, it sharpened their creativity. As the mysterious entity drew closer, Alara and Aiden climbed to a small ridge overlooking the colony. From there, they could see the full scale of the visitor. It was enormous, sleek and luminescent, almost like a giant living crystal. Light shimmered across its surface, changing colors as it moved. Despite its size, it caused no immediate damage. It seemed curious. "Do you think it's intelligent?" Alara asked. "I don't know," Aiden admitted, "but it's aware of us. It moves in response to our sensors and activity. That suggests some level of cognition, or at least observation." Alara's mind raced. Humans had faced alien predators before, but this was different. There was no aggression, only presence. And humans, she knew, could turn even the most uncertain situations into opportunities. "Let's figure out how to communicate," she said. "We don't need weapons, we need understanding." The colony worked together, assembling devices to send signals. They used reflective panels, light pulses, and sound waves, trying to gauge the entity's response. Leela watched from a safe distance, fascinated. Even a child could see the wonder in the situation. Humans confronting the unknown with curiosity, not panic. Hours passed. The entity moved closer, circling the crater's edge, seemingly studying the humans below. Every time the colony sent a signal, it reacted, pausing, changing colors, shifting its shape. It was learning, adapting. Humans were not only surviving, they were teaching. Alara joined Aiden at the command station, reviewing the data. "It's responding to patterns, not just random signals," she noted. "We need to make our communication clear, simple, and consistent." Aiden nodded. "We'll use light patterns, a rhythm, something it can recognize." They worked together, using mirrors and LED arrays. Leela helped by pressing buttons in rhythm, her small hands surprisingly precise. Slowly, the entity's movements became more predictable. It began mirroring the human signals, shifting its colors in harmony with the patterns they sent. Alara felt a surge of pride. Humans were always underestimated, seen as fragile, impulsive, or weak. Yet here they were, connecting with a creature far beyond their understanding, not through force, but through ingenuity, creativity, and patience. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, the entity finally stopped near the crater's edge, hovering silently. Light waves pulsed between it and the colony in a mesmerizing display. Children pointed and clapped, adults whispered in awe, and Alara could not help but smile. Humans had made first contact, not by confrontation but by using their greatest strengths: intelligence, empathy, and curiosity. The next morning, Alara joined a small team to study the entity more closely. They wanted to understand it, not harm it. Aiden explained that the creature emitted low-frequency vibrations that seemed to affect the planet's energy grids. By carefully observing its movements, humans could predict its behavior and adjust their systems to remain safe. Alara watched as engineers built simple devices to track and record the entity's patterns. Every solution was inventive, resourceful, and elegant. Humans had a knack for turning observation into action, problem-solving with minimal tools. She realized that no challenge, no matter how alien or unfamiliar, could fully overwhelm human ingenuity. Leela wandered near her, holding a small recording device. "It likes the lights we made," she said, eyes wide. It's like it's playing with us. Alara smiled. Yes, humans have a way of making even the unknown friendly. Days passed, and the entity remained near the crater, sometimes moving to the lower valleys, sometimes pausing to observe. Humans adapted their routines to coexist with it. Gardens thrived, energy systems functioned smoothly, and children played safely. The colony had turned what could have been a threat into a shared existence, a testament to their resilience and intelligence. One evening, Aiden invited Alara to stand on a cliff overlooking the valley. The entity hovered there, bathed in the light of the setting sun, shimmering in hues she could not name. "It's incredible," Alara said quietly. Aiden nodded. "And yet it's learning from us. Humans are never just survivors. We adapt, we teach, and we grow. Even when the universe seems indifferent, we find a way to thrive." Alara felt a deep respect for the colony and their way of life. They had faced the unknown not with fear, but with curiosity and courage. Humans had a way of turning challenges into opportunities, obstacles into lessons, and strangers into allies. That night, as the twin moons rose over the crater, the colony gathered outside. Children laughed, adults shared stories, and the mysterious entity hovered silently nearby, observing, learning, and perhaps appreciating. Alara reflected on the day's events. She had traveled through countless star systems, faced dangers and unknown worlds, but nothing compared to this. Humans had turned a potential threat into a chance to demonstrate their ingenuity and compassion. And she knew, without a doubt, that whatever the galaxy held, humans would face it not with fear, but with creativity, resilience, and the unshakable belief that nothing was impossible. As she drifted to sleep under the glowing moons, she realized something profound. Humans were not just surviving the universe, they were shaping it. One clever idea, one act of curiosity, one courageous step at a time, humans were leaving their mark, quietly but undeniably, wherever they went. And the entity, whatever it was, had become part of their story, a story of ingenuity, bravery, and hope. Alara closed her eyes, feeling the rhythm of the colony, the pulse of life, and the spark of human spirit. The galaxy was vast, mysterious, and sometimes frightening. But humans would always find a way. The morning light spilled across the crater, casting golden hues over the hidden colony. Captain Alara Vance stood at the edge of the central hall, gazing at the distant ridge where the crystal core was said to be buried. For months, the colony had observed the strange formations beneath the planet, but no human had ventured close enough to understand its secrets. Today, that would change. Alara had volunteered to join Dr. Aiden Rowe and a small team of engineers. Leela's curious eyes watched them prepare, wide with excitement. "Be careful," she called, though her smile betrayed her thrill. "And bring back stories," Alara chuckled. "We will, I promise." The journey to the crystal core was not simple. The team carried equipment carefully designed for observation and analysis, not combat. Climbing the rocky terrain, Alara marveled at the ingenuity of their tools. Lightweight drones with cameras, portable energy sensors, and flexible robotic arms that could reach into narrow crevices. Each device reflected the ingenuity humans were known for, turning imagination into reality, even in an alien environment. "Look at this," Aiden said, pointing to a natural arch of crystal embedded in the rock. The crystal pulsed faintly with light, as if aware of their presence. "Even the smallest formations here respond to energy in ways we don't fully understand." Alara knelt beside the crystal, placing her hand near its surface. A gentle warmth spread through her fingers, and she felt a subtle hum vibrating through the ground. It was not alarming, just alive. Something about the planet resonated with human energy, the creativity, curiosity, and determination that humans brought wherever they went. "This planet, it's responding to us," she whispered. "Not aggressively, but intentionally." Aiden nodded. "We are learning from it. That's what humans do. We observe, adapt, and grow." As they climbed deeper into the ridge, the crystal core came into full view. It was enormous, a network of glowing crystalline structures stretching beneath the planet's surface like veins of light. Colors shifted continuously, soft and mesmerizing, as if the planet itself was breathing. The team set up their observation station at the edge of the core. Sensors hummed softly, recording data about energy flow, crystal density, and unusual vibrations. Alara watched as humans moved with purpose and precision, assembling instruments and calibrating them for readings. "Why does it glow like this?" she asked, fascinated. Aiden adjusted a sensor. "It interacts with the environment and us. The core responds to presence, movement, and energy. We think it's designed to test adaptation and learning. It's not dangerous, just intelligent in a way we can't fully comprehend yet." Alara's eyes sparkled. "So it's like a puzzle," Aiden smiled. "Exactly. And humans are very good at puzzles." The team began experimenting carefully. They adjusted light beams to reflect from the crystal surfaces, rotated mirrors, and tapped subtle vibrations into the core. Slowly, patterns began to emerge, rhythms in the light, responses to energy, even faint harmonic tones in the vibrations. Every experiment required patience, observation, and creativity. Alara felt a surge of pride. Humans were small in the grand universe, yet here they were, facing a phenomenon no other species had understood, using only intelligence, adaptability, and teamwork. This was the essence of HFY, turning impossibility into achievement. Hours passed as they mapped the core's patterns. Leela wandered nearby, fascinated by the tiny drones and light devices. She giggled as one of the drones hovered near her, its sensors reflecting the colors of her eyes. "It likes me," she said. Alara laughed. "Maybe it does. Humans have a way of making friends everywhere, even with a planet's core." Suddenly, a soft hum ran through the crystals, stronger than before. The lights pulsed in response to the humans' presence. The team froze, observing carefully. The core seemed to recognize their efforts, adjusting its responses based on the patterns they had created. "It's learning from us," Aiden whispered. "It's adapting to human logic and creativity." Alara's mind raced. Humans were not the strongest species. They did not have natural armor, immense size, or innate power, but they had ingenuity, curiosity, and cooperation. The core's reaction was proof. Humans could solve problems and adapt in ways no other species could. They spent the rest of the day refining their experiments. Alara adjusted mirrors to direct light through the crystals in complex patterns. Aiden synchronized vibrations through the ground, and the team recorded every response. Slowly, the core began to reveal subtle changes, new colors, smoother vibrations, patterns that resembled symbols. Alara stepped back, exhausted but exhilarated. "We're communicating with it," she said. "It's responding to our ideas." "Yes," Aiden agreed. "Humans are capable of making contact in ways no one else could. We think, we imagine, we adapt, and the core recognizes that." As the sun set, the core's light spread through the underground ridge like liquid colors. Alara marveled at the sight, humans standing beside a living, thinking planet, bridging the gap between species with nothing but curiosity and ingenuity. That night, the team camped near the core, discussing their observations. Leela slept peacefully, trusting in the humans around her. Alara reflected on the day's achievements. Humans had faced an unknown, immense, and seemingly incomprehensible entity, and had made contact, not through aggression, but through intellect and creativity. "This is why humans thrive," she said softly to Aiden. "We may be small, but our minds, they can reach anywhere." Aiden nodded. "We don't just survive. We build, we adapt, we understand. And in doing so, we create connections that others can't even imagine." Alara watched the crystal's pulse, glowing softly under the twin moons. She realized that the core was more than a puzzle. It was a reflection of humanity itself. Every challenge humans faced, Every problem they solved added to their understanding of the universe. The core responded because humans had qualities no other species could replicate: curiosity, patience, creativity, and empathy. The next morning, the team continued their experiments, refining patterns and testing responses. The core revealed new pathways, glowing tunnels that seemed to respond to thought and gesture. Using mirrors, light, and vibration, the humans navigated these tunnels carefully. They discovered new crystals that emitted gentle warmth, creating a network of energy that could power small colonies if harnessed correctly. "This could change everything," Alara said, thinking of the hidden colony. "We could use this energy to help humans thrive in other places." Aiden smiled. "Exactly. Humans don't just adapt to the universe. We shape it, carefully and wisely." Alara spent hours studying the core's reactions, amazed at how humans could turn observation into understanding. Every adjustment, every experiment, revealed a new layer of intelligence within the crystals. The core was teaching them as much as they were teaching it. As they prepared to return to the colony, Alara felt a deep connection to the humans around her. Leela ran ahead, laughing, exploring the edge of the ridge safely. The sight reminded her that humans were not just survivors, they were builders of hope, even in the most alien of places. Back in the crater, the colony welcomed them. Humans worked together to analyze the data collected, discuss strategies, and share discoveries. Every contribution, from a child's curiosity to an engineer's clever adjustment, mattered. The core had become a symbol of what humans could achieve: understanding the unknown through creativity, cooperation, and determination. That night, as Alara lay beneath the twin moons, she reflected on what they had accomplished. Humans had not only faced a mysterious, powerful entity, they had engaged with it, learned from it, and found solutions. It was proof that their greatest strength lay not in size or force, but in intelligence, curiosity, and unity. Alara smiled as she drifted to sleep, thinking of the colony, the core, and the humans she had met. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, but humans had a way of meeting the unknown not with fear, but with understanding. And she knew, without a doubt, that humans would continue to thrive, explore, and leave their mark on the stars. One clever idea, one act of creativity, one courageous step at a time. The hidden colony buzzed with quiet energy as the first light of dawn spread across the crater. Captain Alara Vance stood at the edge of the central hall, observing the humans preparing for another day of discovery. The crystal core had revealed new pathways, new energy flows, and new possibilities. Humans had once again shown their ingenuity, patience, and determination in the face of the unknown. Today, however, was different. Aiden Rowe gathered the team, including Alara, Leela, and the engineers, to plan a daring step: activating the core fully to stabilize the planet's energy for the colony and potentially share its benefits beyond the crater. "This is unprecedented," Aiden said. "No human has ever tried to engage the core on this scale, but we have learned enough. We can do it carefully, patiently, with thought and precision." Alara nodded, feeling a thrill of excitement. Humans were small, fragile creatures by galactic standards, but they were builders, problem solvers, and explorers. And today, their ingenuity would shine brighter than ever. The team set out toward the core, carrying delicate instruments designed to interface with its energy. Every step required care. The glowing crystal tunnels pulsed softly as if aware of their presence, and Alara felt a sense of wonder she could not put into words. "Stay alert," she said softly. "But remember, we're here to understand, not to control." Aiden smiled. "Exactly. Humans succeed not by force, but by curiosity, creativity, and cooperation." As they reached the core's heart, the full scale of its beauty became apparent. Light shimmered through massive crystal formations, spreading in every direction. Colors shifted like liquid rainbows, illuminating the humans below. Sensors hummed with energy, capturing data that could revolutionize how humans interacted with alien planets. Ilara adjusted a panel, directing a pulse of light through the crystals. The core responded almost immediately, sending vibrations across the tunnels. The team mirrored the pulses, creating a rhythm of light and sound. Slowly, patterns emerged, forming shapes, arcs, and pathways. The core was responding to human intelligence, learning from their creativity. "This is it," Aiden said. "We've earned its trust. Now we can stabilize the energy and share it with the colony." The team worked seamlessly, adjusting devices, redirecting energy flows, and carefully monitoring the core's reactions. Every member of the colony contributed in some way. Leela, small but perceptive, helped by signaling changes in light patterns with a small device, demonstrating that even a child's curiosity and insight could matter. Hours passed as the core adjusted to the humans' input. Ilara watched in awe as the colors shifted, vibrations harmonized, and the energy spread evenly through the tunnels. The core was not merely a puzzle, it was a partner, responding to thought, observation, and understanding. Finally, the energy stabilized. Soft hums filled the chamber, and a gentle warmth radiated through the tunnels. Ilara could feel the core's presence, acknowledging their work. Humans had taken something vast, alien, and incomprehensible, and turned it into a shared achievement. Back at the colony, the benefits became immediately apparent. Energy grids ran more efficiently, water systems flowed without interruption, and the gardens thrived even more than before. Humans had not just survived, they had created a sustainable environment, turning the unknown into opportunity. Ilara walked through the colony, observing the children running safely, the adults coordinating tasks with quiet efficiency, and Leela smiling proudly at her father. Humans had a way of making life flourish, even in the harshest conditions, simply by using their minds and hearts together. "We did it," Ilara said softly to Aiden, watching the colony below. "We actually did it." "Yes," Aiden replied. "Humans leave a mark wherever we go. Not by force, but by building, learning, and helping. That's how we thrive." The next day, Ilara and Aiden returned to the core to explore new areas revealed by the energy stabilization. They discovered tunnels leading to chambers filled with smaller crystals, each pulsing with gentle light. The patterns seemed to respond to ideas and gestures, as if the core wanted to teach humans more about itself and the planet. "This is incredible," Ilara said, adjusting a light panel. "The core isn't just a source of energy, it's a teacher." Aiden nodded. "And humans are excellent students. We adapt, learn, and find solutions where others fail. That's why we thrive." They spent the day experimenting carefully, discovering ways to harness energy safely and efficiently. The core seemed to guide them, responding to human logic and creativity. Every adjustment revealed new possibilities, small innovations that could improve life not just in this crater, but potentially in other colonies across the galaxy. As the sun set, the humans returned to the crater's edge. Leela ran ahead to greet them, holding flowers she had picked from the thriving gardens. "Did you see it? Did you see how the core glows?" she asked, eyes wide with wonder. Ilara smiled. "Yes, and it's beautiful. Humans made it happen, Leela. You helped too." Leela's smile grew wider. "We did it together." That night, the colony gathered under the twin moons. Fires burned softly, and the humans shared stories of their day's achievements. Ilara sat quietly, reflecting on what she had witnessed. Humans had faced uncertainty, alien phenomena, and immense challenges, and they had succeeded through intelligence, cooperation, and courage. The core pulsed gently beneath the planet's surface, a living reminder that humans were never truly alone. Their ingenuity, curiosity, and empathy had allowed them to connect with something far beyond their understanding. And in doing so, they had secured a future for the colony, proving once again that humans could thrive anywhere. Ilara realized something profound. Humans were small, fragile, and seemingly ordinary in the vast galaxy, yet they carried a spark that no other species possessed. They could adapt, innovate, and build a future against all odds. They could leave a mark on the universe, not through force, but through creativity, determination, and understanding. The next morning, Alara prepared to leave the colony. She had been a visitor, a traveler passing through the galaxy, but she felt changed. The humans she had met, Aiden, Layla, and the entire colony, had shown her the essence of what it meant to be human: resilience, intelligence, and hope. Leela ran up to her, holding a small crystal she had picked from the gardens. "For you," she said, beaming, "so you remember us." Alara took the crystal, holding it carefully. "I'll remember, Leela, always." As the wandering star lifted from the crater, Alara looked down at the colony. Humans moved efficiently, joyfully, and purposefully. The crystal core glowed beneath the surface, a silent partner in their ingenuity and determination. For the first time in her life, Alara felt that humans could truly face anything the galaxy offered. They were not just survivors, they were builders, thinkers, and creators. They could solve problems, make connections, and leave a mark wherever they went. The stars stretched endlessly before her, vast and mysterious, but she carried a new certainty: humans would thrive. They would explore, adapt, and inspire wherever they went. And she, Captain Alara Vance, would be part of that story. As she navigated the ship through the first light of dawn, the galaxy seemed brighter, more alive. She thought of the colony, of Leela's laughter, of the glowing core, and the endless possibilities humans could achieve. And somewhere in the vastness of space, the core pulsed gently, as if acknowledging the humans who had reached it, not with force but with courage, intelligence, and hope. Alara smiled. Humans had left their mark, and they would continue to do so, wherever the stars would take them.